Most soccer players say they want to play in college, but very few understand how to actually do it. I'm Chris Cushing. I help soccer players across the country stand out so they can get more college scholarships. And I've seen the same patterns time and time again. The players that are getting college offers are going about the recruiting process differently. First of all, they're not believing these recruiting myths that are out there, and I'll touch on those in a second. But second of all, they're using different strategies so they can become different players and stand out in the process. So in this video, I'm breaking down exactly what elite players are doing and what I learned on my journey from going from a JV high school player to a D1 captain. And in the next few minutes, you're gonna know exactly why you're not getting the college attention you think that you deserve and what you can do starting today to fix this. First of all, there's two myths out there that high-level talent refuse to believe. The first one being that if you're not on a top MLS Next or ECNL program, you're not gonna get eyes on you. I got a D1 offer without ever being on the top ECNL team at my club because I was standing out during my season. I didn't need a fancy badge on my jersey to tell coaches that I was a good player. They could see it in the evidence. And in a bit, I'll explain exactly how you can do that too. But the second myth out there that elite players refuse to believe in is that you need an NCSA or some recruiting service or agent out there to help you get college exposure. This could not be further from the truth. If you want the real facts, what I've learned through mentoring over 20 remote athletes and also going through the process of going to 2 different D1 schools myself, the reason that you don't have enough exposure is because you're not showcasing top level talent to these college coaches. And if you believe in this myth that you need a recruiting service, I don't blame you. A current athlete of mine said that his family spent thousands on recruiting services because when he was sending out emails with his highlights in his film, all he was getting back were generic ID camp responses and automated emails that were just copy and pasted. So he felt like there was just a wall between him and these coaches. But since he's been working with me, he's improved his ability on the ball and actually bumped up a level on his club team. And now he's getting opportunities to go and showcase himself at higher level tournaments and events. So in the end, he figured out it wasn't the recruiting program that was the problem. It was just his ability. And now he's seeing the results himself. But that's a secret that they don't want you to know because they love taking your money. That's just the honest truth. Also, I got ignored by over 150 college coaches when I was reaching out in the recruiting process in high school. 2 years later, when I had a standout season at a D1 program, proving that I could actually hold myself and I had the talent, I entered the transfer portal. Those same exact schools that were airing me out when I reached out to them were reaching out to me. And those were the same coaches that I was telling myself they were just too busy to open their email inbox. And that's why I wasn't getting any exposure when I was in high school. And in that moment, it made sense. If I was good enough, I was gonna get recruited. So now you know how to get college offers. You need to ball out, you stand out, you need to prove that you can dominate at the college level. So now, how do you do that? Well, I break player development down into 3 different segments. 1, on-field development, 2, the mental transformation, and 3, the mentorship and guidance. In this video, I'm just gonna focus on the on-field development and I'll touch on the other ones in other videos. So within on-field development, you can improve your technical side and your game moment side. For the technical side, I'll give you an example of one of the athletes that I'm working with right now. He's a winger and I'll take you through the exact process that we went through. First of all, we focused on the 2 most important game situations that would lead to the biggest increase in goals for him this season because he knew that was the route he needed to take if he wanted to stand out. He needed to score. For him specifically, it was 1v1 attacking from the wide areas when he was outside the 18, and also that close range dribbling and finishing from within the box. So we highlighted those, and now we had the pathway for him to become a breakout player. We knew that if he just got into these situations and we practiced them relentlessly, that was going to be the highest leverage play for him in his career. So we just needed to refine his technique in those specific situations. So I made a training plan for him revolving around, again, those 2 situations. So now he's making intentional tweaks to his game, to his specific technique that he knows is most important so he can be a standout player this next season. For him, something we focused on was the fact that he was good enough and technical enough to beat a player 1v1, but he hasn't been turning his skills into concrete goals and standout stats. He also struggled with the confidence to actually go at these players 1v1 even though he knew he was good enough. So the strategy was to simplify his 1v1 process into something he can repeat over and over again. So the first part was just making sure he was always going at defenders with pace. The second part was just doing one body feint and cutting out the extra skill moves. After he implemented these for a few weeks, we were able to look back and see how the week 1 version of him was aesthetic and skillful as a winger, but the week 5 version was lethal and game impacting as a winger. And seeing that progress was a great reminder to me. Usually it's not that you're missing something within your skill. You just need a different set of eyes from someone who's played at the level to give you that push in the right direction. Now, in the end, technique means nothing if you're not able to get into these situations repeatedly. Because reminder, in case you forgot, the reason that you don't have the offers that you think you deserve is because you're not proving yourself and giving enough evidence to these college coaches that you can dominate at their level. So how do you improve game moments? Well, it's gonna come from your game film analysis. So here's the strategy. Each match that you play, go back, watch the game film, and mark down 5 timestamps of game moments that you need to focus on. Answer questions like these. How can I be more effective in this situation? 2, what would a college level player do better in this situation? And 3, one of the favorite ones that I use with my remote athletes, what would the FIFA version of me do? One, if it was just a video game and he was playing for fun. A center mid that I worked with got ruled out from his season for 8 weeks with a grade 3 ankle sprain when we first started working together. He was gonna miss preseason and the first 1 or 2 games of his club season, and he was really worried how he was going to stand out, especially going into a really important junior year season on the recruiting side. He knew that he had to ball out and stand out, and that's how he was gonna get more offers, but the problem was he couldn't play. He was injured, he was sidelined. So how was he supposed to get better? Well, here's what we did. Every single week, he would send in these timestamps of his previous match film, and we would break down each moment following these exact 3 questions. What could he do better? What would a college player do? What would the FIFA version of him do? After going through his film, we decided on 3 core themes that were the difference between him and a real college level player. 1, he had to open his body shape a lot better. 2, he had to drive 4s every time he saw space. 3, he wasn't obsessed enough with checking his shoulder and switching out to the other side of the field. We would zoom out every week and go over how the specific timestamps and the specific game moments applied to these bigger themes we were trying to work on. And he made the realization that he had been missing out on so much progress before we had been working together because he didn't have that film analysis side. He wasn't improving his game side. He was only improving his technique when he was going out to train. And it's funny, a comment that he made was he didn't realize how he could actually improve more from his laptop than he could if he was healthy playing. So we ran through that film analysis every single week, and he stepped back on the field finally after getting healthy. And he said that he actually felt better returning after not playing for 2 months compared to when he was healthy before we started working together with the film. Why? Well, he had been getting so many game moment reps that now is applying to the game. And again, a lot of times it's not necessarily something missing from your skill, it's just a perspective and pushing you into that bigger picture play. So now he's fully bought into the power of breaking down game film, and he doesn't go a single week without sending me these timestamps for me to go over. And for him, after a few weeks, we ran out of his personal match film to look over. So what do you do if you don't have your own game film? Well, just like we did, look up a full college game, a D1, D2 game, whatever it may be, pick a player that plays your position and ideally plays your play style, and watch him and go through these same questions, pausing it, marking it down, ask yourself, what could he have done better? What can I do to replicate what he's doing? And truthfully, if you really want to accelerate your game through watching film, you're going to want to combine the notes that you put together and bring them to someone who's played at the higher level, who sees the game a little bit different than you do. That's how you really learn, by getting that feedback. And if you wanted the secret sauce, well, there it was, because the #1 thing that athletes say helps them the most within our remote mentorship program is that film analysis. College recruiting isn't about who sends the most emails or what club team you play for. It's about who develops into a player that demands attention from the next level. And the players who do that and demand that attention have 3 things in common. They train with a plan, they study their game with intention, and most importantly, they're getting real feedback from someone who's played at that level before. So if you found this video helpful, definitely check out the other stuff on my channel. And if you really do want to take control of your career as a soccer player, then you need a system for your development made for you so you can accelerate past everyone else. So click the link in the description. It'll take you to my website and it'll show you a video of what's been working for other guys across the country.